What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Black Ink Crew Chicago Season 6, Episode 3. So, start the episode off with Charmaine delivering probably the worst kept secret. Because like in those first two episodes, it looked like Charmaine had put on weight. You were like, Charmaine getting a little thick. But she's been putting on weight. I mean, no disrespect, Charmaine. But she's been putting on weight for the last couple of seasons. So, you know. But this last episode, Charmaine looked pregnant. So she told the shop that she was pregnant. Of course, everybody was happy for her and everything. But they were acting like they ain't know and they were shocked. And I was like, child, you knew she was pregnant. Then we see that Charmaine is trying to cook dinner for her mother-in-law. Her mom went back to New Orleans, but the mother-in-law still staying with them because she's from Haiti. I don't know. I know she doesn't. Well, I don't believe she actually lives in Haiti right now. But neither here nor there. She was staying a little bit longer, and so Charmaine wanted to cook for her and cook some authentic Haitian food. And her first hint should have been when Nick told her, "Why you ain't tell me? I could have helped you with this." And she said, "Well, no, I got some. I have recipes." He said, "Where you get those recipes from?" She was like, "The internet." That was your second hint when he laughed. Boo! If you gonna serve somebody dinner, get a plate, get a real plate. I'm sorry. You are pregnant and working two jobs. Nick can wash the dishes. If you don't put that food for your mother-in-law on a real damn plate. Now, on that one, I agree with mother-in-law on like, you want to cook for me, you trying to impress me, but you put it on a, and then it wasn't even the good kind of paper plates. Like, it was the paper plate. You know those paper plates where you have to use three or four of them because they so flimsy, and if you just use one, your food gonna fall right through. That kind of paper plate. That child, if you don't put that, mother-in-law said, y'all don't have no plates. Y'all don't have no real plates. Of course, she tasted the food and she was not impressed. She thought the food was nasty, it was salty, it was dry. Now, clearly, Mama don't see it for Charmaine in that moment. She not trying to be nice to Charmaine. She not trying to give Charmaine, any life. Because if she was, she would have ate the food or at least tasted it enough, and then she would have been like, she would have waited. This the best way she could have played it. You go on and just suffer through the meal, boo. She tried. Okay, she tried to make Haitian food, didn't do a good job. You go on and suffer through the meal because Charmaine can't cook. Like, I don't remember anybody ever say that Charmaine can't cook. So okay. And then you come home the next day with groceries and say, I want to cook with my daughter in law. Let's get to know each other and let me show you how to make my favorite Haitian food. Because there is a difference between getting something out of a recipe and adding that little home cooking, your own little oomph to it. You could have played it like that, but you wasn't trying to. You were trying to be mean. Charmaine left your ass there eating that food. And Nick tried to tell you. Nick was like, look, she was like, why she mad? What do you mean why she mad? You just insulted her. She tried to cook you a nice meal and you didn't have anything to say from beginning to end. And Nick was like, because she feels like nothing she does is ever enough. Like, that's why she's mad. So the next day, Charmaine comes home from work, or I guess the next day, Charmaine comes home from work and mother-in-law is washing dishes. And Charmaine lets her know, like, look, I have tried. Like, I know that you are not happy about how me and Neek hooked up, but it is what it is. And I have tried my best. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to say. But at the end of the day, I love your son. We're married. You're going to have to just accept it. And I'm going to need you to chill out. And so the mom basically was like, look, I'm worried about you and worried about my godchild. And so Charmaine said, oh, so what you think is that I'm still the party girl. You think I'm still, you know, tank top, twerk, and get drunk. I can be a good mom and I'm ready to be a mom and all of that. Now, we're going to get to the end of this episode because everything I was starting to go along with you on, Charmaine, you totally blew out the water at the end of this episode. But I'm going to get there. I'm going to wait. The other thing I want to say is, y'all, Charmaine looks really pretty. You know how some women glow in pregnancy? Charmaine, you look really pretty. Her skin looks different. Her face, she looks so beautiful right now. And I'm not, and don't take that the wrong way. I think Charmaine is a pretty girl, but you know, she got a glow about her right now. She really does have a glow about her. Anyway, down to non-mag, Rachel done found out that Ryan is sleeping in the shop. And she like, Ryan, what's up with that? Like, why are you sleeping in the shop? She was like, I know you can afford your own place. What's good? And she basically forced Ryan into telling her what the reasoning is. And it's the reason is what I said last week was basically he don't want to invest in getting a place because he thinks he's going to be able to convince her to let him come back home. Because let's face it, he always has. He always has been able to come back home. I think when that whole thing went down with Kit, he moved in with his parents. And he was able to get back home. Last season, they weren't saying that they weren't calling themselves in a relationship, but they were sleeping in the same room. She came down to Miami and all of that. So they was, I guess, pseudo back together. And it sounds like he's been back in the house recently. If he's been living in the shop the last couple of months, that's pretty recent. But Rachel let him know basically in no uncertain terms, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like I have dealt with it, I've put up with it. Now all of a sudden you worried about your family. Now all of a sudden you want your family back. Now all of a sudden all these things are important to you. They weren't important to you before, and they're not important to me now. And at this point, I'm done. Like I love you, we family, we gonna always be family and raise our kids. But as far as a relationship, that's a wrap. And Ryan is like, you know what? I gotta accept it. I just have to accept that. So later on in the episode, we see him talking to his son, talking about getting a place, that he's going to get a place, and what is it that he wants, what kind of thing he wants. And the son was like, "So you gonna have a room for mommy?" I think he still want them to kind of work it out or whatever. And that's I don't know if they will or they won't. They may not. At the end of the day, excuse me. Ryan hit us with the. I guess he couldn't do a direct R. Kelly quote, so he hit us with the pseudo R. Kelly quote and was like, when a woman gets fed up, I mean, ain't nothing you can do about it. I said, I can't be quoting R. Kelly. Anyway, but that's pretty much where we are with that. Now we see Jess, Fly Tatted, and the other guy from the shop. I forget his name. They take her out. She said all she's seen is downtown Chicago. She wants to see like South Side, and she wants to see other parts of Chicago. So they take her out. Oh, she's having a pajama party. We'll get to that. That's the party that I'm talking about. And she wants everybody to wear their lingerie and all that good stuff. So anyway, I know. So they end up taking her out. She ends up getting to see the city, a different part of the city, and they end up telling her basically, and she is from London, and she said, I grew up mixed. My dad's white, my mom's black. I grew up in sort of a posh, section of town, and I've definitely seen how Black Americans are treated differently. She said even from me as a Brit, a Black British woman, I've been treated differently. We get to learn a little bit more about Fly Tatted. We find out that that his brother that he's dealt with gun violence in Chicago. That his brother was killed. He said in his arms, and it was pretty recently. He said he's the oldest in his family, and that's why he just has to grind so hard. He's like, that's the life that I know. And I can appreciate that she was asking questions. I don't think her questions were ignorant. I don't think her questions were insensitive. I think it was someone who did not grow up in America trying to understand certain things. And the reality is, whether we want to accept it or not, certain things float around about certain parts of the country. I've been in London. I've traveled abroad, and people do ask you some crazy questions because they hear certain things. They don't necessarily know fact from fiction. And I would rather somebody ask me than assume. And so she asked them questions about the gun violence. She said, over in London, I've heard about Chicago and how bad the violence is here. And because she asked when they were on their way to the hood, she said, "So you think anybody's gonna carjack us?" And they were like, "Nah, don't nobody carjack you like that. I mean, they'll just take the car. Like they'll just, why they'll just steal it." And and it was funny because she kind of had that look on her face, like, "Okay, that ain't much better, like what?" But they had a really good conversation, and I thought it was a nice let me learn how things are while you tell me. What I mean? I think it was a good moment. I think it was a good moment where they got to know each other and get stuff that wasn't in the shop or whatever. We see Ryan do a tattoo for a guy who lost his dad, and Of course, Ryan talks about how close he is to his dad and that kind of thing. And you know how they do the little tattoo, and then Ryan is talking about wanting to get back with Rachel, but understanding that basically he screwed up and he's got to do what he's got to, deal with the repercussions or the repercussions of his decisions and his actions. Um, he said, um, I kind of separated myself from my family, but he said, "Oh," and it's funny because he calls his father, like he says, Daddy. I call my father Daddy, Ryan. But he said that he always saw his father as Superman, and to because the guy he's on a tattoo for, dad died of pancreatic cancer. He said he was diagnosed like right after Christmas, and by the middle of January he was gone. At that point there was nothing they could do; it was too far gone. And so you saw Ryan sort of having a moment, I guess, thinking about how precious and how short and how fast it can go. But he said that through therapy he's really learning to accept what he can accept and deal with what he can't accept and not put too much on him as far as guilt or allow himself to the guilt to eat up on him or whatever. Um Guy and what's the girl name? Nessa. What's the, y'all know I gotta find my notes from the other night, child. These people's names. I know I gotta learn these names, honey. That's the other show the notes from. That's the other show that the notes from. I got a lot of shows that I got a lot of notes from, but I'm trying to get the girl name right. Drea, thank you. So we had Drea Guy out on the date. He's feeling her, and she said, "Look, I mean, well, they both feeling each other, and they make a cute little couple." But she said, "Look, for right now, I really don't want the people in the shop to know what's going on. I know how things happen. I know how people get in your business. I know how people get, think guys exchange information and stuff like that." She said, "For now, I really just want to keep it between us." She said, "And if and when people in the shop do find out what's going on with us, I still want to keep that separate. Our intimate relationship separate from the shop." So I think that's very smart. She said, I don't usually date people that I work with. That's probably a good situation. You probably should not date people you work with. It's not a good situation. I don't even let people be on my Instagram and my Facebook that I work with because I might be talking about them one day. I might come home and decide I want to talk about the person that works next to me and they my Facebook friend and they be like, "She talking about me?" Yep, I'm talking about you. So yeah, there's gotta be a separation there. We see a real cute scene with Four and Don. They trying to get Four to get ready to settle down. So they have Four helping Don get the kids ready, for bed. And of course, it's what you would expect it to be. They running around the house. Four got them, picked them up, carried them. They were brushing their teeth. The baby, Ashton done threw toothpaste in DJ's face, honey. It was cute. It was a cute scene, but it was a filler scene because it was. And of course, Four said that he wants to have children someday, and blah. So anyway, it was cute. Um, the other thing we saw a really good conversation between Ryan and his son as well, where he's talking to him about, him hitting a growth spurt and being ready for basketball and being able to dunk. And his son was like, "Yeah, nah, I don't think so." He was like, "Why?" He said, "Because I'm short and you're short." And Ryan was like, "Look, my grandmother was 100% Japanese, and she's like 4'10". I got her height. But my dad, is 6'4". My grandfather was like six whatever. He was like, "You're going to get the height. Like it skipped me, it's gonna go to you." And he's like, we're gonna you're gonna be ready for basketball. You're gonna hit that growth spurt and be boom. So then his son was really cute. His son was like, "Why am I growing a beard?" Ron said, "For the same reason why your voice is getting deeper, the same reason why you growing a mustache. You hitting puberty." And his son was like, "Well, I don't want to grow a beard." He was like, "Why?" He said, "Because I'm scared I'm gonna cut myself if I shave." And Ryan was like, "I'm gonna teach you how to shave." He said, "That's father son stuff. I'm gonna teach you how to shave." He said, "You think I would I would let you cut yourself?" And his son was like, he said, "No." He said, "I'm gonna teach you how to shave. I'm gonna take you down to the shop, let them teach you the right way to do it. You're gonna be all right." He said, "That's what I'm here for." So that was a really cute scene between the two of them. So last but not least, honey, we are at this pajama party. Now let me say this. Charmaine, Charmaine, Charmaine. You could have fully participated in this party without being half-ass naked. You are a married woman now. You got to carry yourself different, Charmaine. You could have still worn a cute nightie and all of that. You did not have to wear what the fact that they still had to blur out your nipples says that what you had on was inappropriate for a married woman. And you pregnant. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you can't be sexy and be pregnant. Clearly you can. What I'm saying though is once again it's about the respect that you have for your husband and y'all situation as far as you being pregnant with his child. Third of all, I feel like Nick should have been there. I feel like Nick should have been at that party. But again, so they had the party, honey. They having a good time. Now you have Drea and Guy over there. Guy can't keep his hands off of her. She looking cute. He's all lusting after her and everything. They played, truth or dare. She done licked whipped cream off his chest, and it became obvious to everybody in the room that if they hadn't hooked up, they was gonna hook up. And Jess was like, I don't mean to rain on nobody's parade. This is all good and fun and everything. But what we not gonna do is have no shop romances. I don't do them. They never end well. So I hope, ain't nothing going down because it ain't going to be no go down. Oh, that didn't come out right. It ain't going to be no getting down. So then they get to dancing and twerking and all that. And once again, Charmaine, inappropriate, but whatever. So Drea, who used to be a dancer, remember, that's part of her story. She used to be a dancer. And I don't mean like Alvin Ailey. I mean like King of Diamonds. So of course she getting it in. She twerking and she got them Meg the Stallion knees and is that her name Meg the Stallion? Is that her name? Anyway, but y'all know what I'm talking about, honey. So now Fly Tatted is hitting her on her butt and they having a good time. You got Guy over there, his feelings getting real in his feelings. Here's my problem. Here's my issue. One, y'all not supposed to let anybody know what's going on. So y'all already let that little cat out the bag. Two, even though you let the cat out the bag, you don't act like that. Like y'all are at a company function, y'all are dancing and having a good time. If she letting old dude slap her, now mind you, he brought a woman with him. The woman didn't have an issue with it. Why you got an issue with it? And if you see that, go slap Charmaine's ass. I don't know. Have a good time. Y'all are at a party. Like at the end of the day, you know where you going. Clearly, y'all going back to somebody's house and y'all gonna get it in. So just have a good time. But then him and Fly Tatted end up getting into it. Now let me be clear. Dude, I don't think you want that smoke from him. I don't think you want the smoke from Fly Tatted. I don't think you want that smoke. I'm just being nice about it. That's as nice as I can be. You don't want that smoke. They got to arguing, and Fly Tatted was like, "Well, look, let's just take this outside. I mean, like we can go on and resolve this right now. Let's just go ahead and go outside and let's handle it." And that's where the episode ended. So we're gonna see what they pick. I'm sure they're gonna pick up next week with something. But anyway, that's what it was. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments, please.